Hello, everyone. So, last Friday. What was last Friday? Sorry, I'm gonna be looking this up. The 7th. So, it probably won't even be last Friday by the time this video gets out. Because on the 7th, I went and saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, be honest, I was very skeptical about this one at first when I saw the announcement trailer. Not because of Chris Pratt's voice, not because of Jack Black's voice or anything like that, but video game movies in general have not been the best of quality or consistent with just, I don't know, perspective of how I would think a movie would interpret a video game. I think up to that point, my experiences were very meh. Like the Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie. I never really liked Angelina Jolie as a actress. She's decent enough, but I didn't feel like her role in the movie was great. But then again, I mean, I didn't really like Tomb Raider back then. I can't say I enjoy it, not enjoy. I can't say that it's one of my top games to play. I never played the classic ones either, so I know that's probably not good, but that's my perspective of it. God, there were, even the Mortal Kombat movies, I mean, the original ones were bad, but the first one was good bad, if that makes sense. I'm sure it does. Annihilation, I couldn't even watch 5 minutes of it before I was like, okay, I'm done. They definitely tried sticking a little more with the animations in the second one, but it hurt. It hurt my soul. And then even the new one, the 2021 one, was explanation. It felt like a pilot episode of a bad TV series where there's just so much exposition dump on everyone. It's just we get it. The only enjoyable parts was the Scorpion and Sub-Zero fights. That's neither here nor there right now. That's not the movie. Those aren't the movies I'm going to be talking about. I'm talking about the new Super Mario movies. The Super Mario Brothers movie. And again, as with my other review, this is going to be a major spoiler. So if you don't want spoilers yet, please turn out. But I wouldn't say they're huge spoilers simply because if you played any Mario game, you know the basic storyline of this. But anyway, spoilers. The movie starts out as the very first trailer does. I mean, obviously it's not. There's more stuff from the trailer in the movie, because in the trailer they have 30 seconds. But basically the Bowser attack on the Penguin Kingdom, again this Power Star, is the very first scene in the movie, which I think is good. Just get that out of the way, over and done with. And then we cut over to the Mario Brothers, and they have their accents. Yes, they have the accents for first time you meet them. But then it zooms out, and it's actually a commercial for the plumbing business that they started. And they also have the real accents with Chris Pratt and Charlie Day. And I will be honest, I did not get mad that Chris Pratt was the voice of Mario. My opinion is that going through a whole movie with that over-the-top Italian fake accent would have been very annoying for me. Again, that's just me. If you wanted to have that the entire movie, okay, cool. But I think having it would have been grating on my ears after a while. And Charlie Day as Luigi works out because Charlie Day's voice, can make it very scared, and Luigi's always been the, not necessarily the cowardly of the two, but the more cowardly of the two. And there's plenty of references to the old Mario game or Nintendo games. Because when they cut from the commercial and they're asking if the accents were a little too much, there's a guy playing the original Donkey Kong game where Mario and Donkey Kong and Daisy were all introduced. The one that I suck at. Because I had it on Game Boy back in the day, like the original Game Boy, the brick. I think I could only get to like level 2 or 3 before I got my ass whooped. But they have that guy, and he says, "No, I thought that was okay." And he does the Wahoo jump thing. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then we're introduced to Spike, who is this giant of a man. And I think maybe he is a reference to another Mario game. But I'm not sure. But he's Spike the plumber that the Mario brothers were employed to until recently when they decided to go off on their own. And he's making fun of them and making fun of Mario's height because they do make Mario short in the movie. He is a short guy. And he's like, "You didn't even get a call yet, guys, did you?" And Luigi's like, in fact, we did. It was our mother." And Spike leaves with the cocky attitude. He's like, "You'll never make it anywhere. You'll regret leaving me." And as soon as he leaves, the brothers get a phone call to fix something. And just to be clear, they're not in the Mushroom Kingdom yet. They are in Brooklyn, New York. Which I don't mind. I mean, it explains why they don't have the Italian accent. They're in New York, they're in America, and not everyone's going to have a huge Italian accent. But it's also like, oh, well, how did they get to the Mushroom Kingdom now? But we'll get to that in a few minutes. But they get their phone call, and their van doesn't work. So they do the running thing. Like, we got to run to the place. And this shows that Mario is very athletic, very headstrong, and he starts going, and Luigi's like trying to pick up pieces that Mario's knocking over, and he's like, sorry, and he's slower than Mario, and not as athletic, where Mario's running up scaffolding, jumping on cranes that are moving up and down, and it looks like a Mario level, and there's even a flag or a banner he jumps off or jumps onto at the end of this construction site, and it's just like level, not necessarily just like level 1, but it's just like it looks like a Mario level. And then he opens the gate for Luigi, and Luigi's like out of breath, and they're still running. So they get to the place, and there's a dog, and Luigi accidentally breaks a bone, and the dog's like, "Okay, you're my mortal enemy now." And they fix the problem, but the dog ensues a fight, and the problem gets worse. And it's a funny fight because it's like they're trying to fight off a dog in this very expensive house that ends up making things worse. So we don't see them fix the bathroom after that, simply because the joke's over, the scene's over, and they go back home. And they show a big, not a huge Italian family, but I think there's like 6 other people there. And they pretty much all look alike, except the ladies, of course. This flew over my head at first, when I first saw it. There's spaghetti and there's some mushrooms on it, and Mario's like, "Oh, yuck, mushrooms." And Luigi's like, "I'll take them for you." It didn't dawn on me that was supposed to be a joke with Mario eating mushrooms all the time, that he doesn't like mushrooms, actually. I don't know why that went over my head when I saw that. I was like, oh, he doesn't like mushrooms? Okay, cool. It plays in later. Again, I feel like an idiot for that whooshing over my head. But the entire family basically the entire family starts making fun of Mario and Luigi for doing this, and Mario's like, well, we made the right choice, right, Dad? And the dad's like, no, you're an idiot. And you're bringing your brother down with you. Good job. And Mario's like, oh, great, thanks, Dad, and walks off. And I don't think we see Wario or Waluigi, the cousins. I think the family was the brothers, like other two brothers. I'm assuming because there wasn't a huge guy and then not a huge, like a tall, skinny guy like Wario and Waluigi. So if they come up with this, if they do a sequel, we'll have to wait and see. Mario is in his room. He's playing, I think, Duck Hunt or something on the old NES. Product placement, of course. And Luigi comes in and is like, hey, you're not bringing me down. I chose this to come into business with you. You're doing just fine. We'll make it. And then it cuts to a news flash where a sewer main has been broken, and the city is going to be taking care of it. And it cuts to Mayor Paulina. That's right. Paulina is the mayor, and I think she was the mayor of one of the cities in Mario. What was the one for the Switch? Anyway, she reprises her role as a mayor. And she's like, yeah, we got everything under control, don't worry about it, and the city will take care of it. But Mario's like, no, they won't. Let's go, Luigi. And they see the city workers trying to fix this flood, which is up to Mario's belly. It's just like, how bad is this pipe main that the city streets are flooding like that? And then Mario's like, they're looking in the right place, and he pops over in a drain. And then he goes in, and once again, it's just like, wait, how's the city flooding if the sewers are 15 feet tall? But it's just a plot point. It's a stupid plot point. And Mario sees the problem, doesn't end up fixing it, but the two brothers end up in this weird tower of sewage locations. Like, we've never seen this before, and they go exploring at the bottom of it. They're just like, ooh, wow. And then Luigi spots a dusted over green pipe. And the curiosity gets the better of him. And he gets closer. And then he just disappears. And Mario's like, Luigi, and he starts looking at the pipe. And he gets sucked in. Like, he stopped and he's trying to figure out what's going on. But then he gets literally pulled into the pipe. And then there's this, like, I guess it's supposed to be looking like the world travel map, because there's a bunch of clear portals or lines that the brothers are flying through. And, of course, as Mario catches up with Luigi, Mario goes, it's okay, everything will be fine as long as we stick together. And, of course, as soon as he finishes that, they get separated again. Luigi ends up in Bowser's world, and Mario ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom. And again, the joke went over my head the first time, and he starts complaining about why does it have to be mushrooms. And that's when we meet Toad from the trailers. And I don't know if this Toad is special from a video game, one of the video games or not, but he's always carrying an adventuring pack. And before anyone goes, well, you're a fake fan. Yes, I've never played a lot of Mario games. I played 64. I played one of them on the Game Boy brick. I played Sunshine, Galaxies. And that was about it. I couldn't get into the NES ones. I was so bad at them, and I never had an NES. It was always at a friend's house. And I've played a few of the Mario Karts, so I'm sure there's a lot more references that I'm missing, because I never did the side stories like, Toad's Adventures or Bowser's Inside Adventure or whatever. I did more Paper Mario, but I didn't suck at it. I got far, but then the Blockbuster rental date was up, so I had to return it, and I couldn't find it again. So yeah. But yeah, this Toad has a pack on it and takes Mario to the Toadstool Kingdom. like the town where the Toads are, to meet Peach. And hilarity ensues as Mario is now, he's still athletic and he still knows what he's doing, but because he's in a new world, he doesn't understand how everything's working. And then we cut to Peach, or the Toad War Council, saying that Bowser is on his way to the Mushroom Kingdom to take it over, as he did with the Penguin World, or the Ice World. And Peach vows to get the aid of the Kongs. So we see Peach as a more, not aggressive ruler, but more ready to face a fight ruler. And it's like, okay, cool. And I'm glad they got someone who wasn't like, didn't have an airy voice like most of the Peach that I've encountered over the years has. Like, not that over the top, light, airy voice, because that definitely would have gotten annoying. But Mario and Peach run into each other, but Peach throws Mario over like a karate chop because she doesn't know that he's there to ask for help. He's running from the guards, and the guards catch up to him and tackle him. And she's like, oh my god, you're another human! You're another human! But you're so short! And then Mario explains that Luigi's trapped in the Darklands and he needs her help. And she said, okay, you can come with me, but you need to prove something first. And it's an obstacle course. And she gets it over in one try, which tells me, okay, well, she's had practice. She's been doing this for a while. And he's like, well, how'd you do that? And she goes, with an item box. And he pops the item box open. There's one of the mushrooms, the growth mushroom. And he's like, okay, you have to eat it now. Oh, that's when it's like, oh, fuck, that's why he doesn't like mushrooms. That's why it's funny. Like I said, I couldn't believe it didn't dawn on me until that moment. It's like, oh shit, that's right. So they have like a minute of him trying, not a minute, like 30 seconds of him trying not to eat it or make excuses until she like goes, okay, here we go, and just shoves it down his throat. And then he spends like the next 12 hours or so trying to do the obstacle course, and he almost makes it. And Peach says, okay, you're good to go. And he goes, well, I didn't make it. Why are you letting me to go? It's like, you know how many times it took me to beat it? And he goes, you did it on your first try. And he goes, I did it on my first try. And I was like, okay, thanks for trying to make me feel better. Is it working? Kind of. And she says, well, I grew up here. That's why it was so easy for me. I was like, okay, well, that's a better explanation, I guess. We cut to Bowser, obviously, a few times. And the Koopa Kingdom doesn't know why Bowser wants the superstar. They just assume he's trying to take over the other kingdoms with it. And the first cut where they're going to the Mushroom Kingdom, he goes, we're going to go and propose to Peach. And they're like, yeah, wait, what? So it is the basic story of Bowser's just trying to get Peach to marry him, which is hilarious. It was like, I remember there was a critic review that people picked up on complaining about the storyline. It's like, how complicated do you think a Mario story is going to be? There's no like intrigue or backstabbing or some sort of psychological warfare that the villain is casting upon the hero. It's simply Bowser wants Peach. He kidnaps Peach all the time and Mario saves her. In this case, we're assuming this is like one of the first times that he's trying this. So he's just going to go over and ask her hand in marriage. Like, how deep do you think this is going to be? But anyway, one of the Koopas just asked, why don't we just kidnap, or why don't we just burn the kingdom down? And Bowser burns him down and makes him a dry bones. And they actually do make the dry bones very creepy or scary in this one, because when Luigi wakes up in the Darklands, he encounters a horde of dry bones. And it plays out like a horror movie. And yes, they come back to life because Luigi knocks one apart and he's like, "Ha ha, I beat you." And it comes back to life. He's like, "Ah!" and runs away. Gets captured by Shy Guys in a castle. One of the many castles. So yeah, another scene with Bowser is him singing the song, and I do recommend looking this up on like Amazon Music or iTunes or something, called Peaches. And yes, it's actually on the album. It's sung by Jack Black himself. Which apparently he nominated for an Oscar for this. Or Grammy, I forget which one. Don't care which one. It's funny because he's singing as Bowser, and he kind of goes back to his normal voice a couple of times. But one of the times he is interrupted by the wizard guy. And he says another human has showed up in Princess Peach's world, and he's asking for help. And Bowser's like, does she like him? And it's like, well, possibly. And Bowser gets all upset, and that's the reason why Bowser doesn't like Mario, is because Peach likes Mario. It's like, oh my god, I could see that. I can see that being perfectly the reason why Bowser doesn't like Mario. As Peach and Mario are going to the cons, the Toad with the Pack joins them. And when they reach one of the points that they reach during the montage, where they show even Yoshi's, woohoo! Peach says that she came to this kingdom as a child, and it shows essentially the same pipe that Mario and Luigi came through when she was a baby, and that the Toads raised and trained her as one of their own until they were ready to crown her their princess. So that's their explanation of why Peach is the only human in the Mushroom Kingdom besides Mario. But it does give us an insight that maybe Peach might have more of a backstory in the sequel, which I hope they don't really get into, because I think it'll be a bunch of bullshit. And Mario even says, well, you could be from where I'm from. And Peach kind of looks up in the sky and says, well, there's a whole galaxy out there. And hinting that there could be she could be from another world. But I'm really hoping that if they do a sequel, they don't do Mario Galaxies and do something where she's like Princess Rosina's daughter or something like that, because that would just ruin it. Just leave it as it is. Just say, hey, I don't know where I came from. I just came here as a child. Like, not everything needs a fucking explanation. Just, like, I came here as a child. Okay, cool, done. You're the princess. Cool. And Toad's playing a flute in the background because there's a flute playing from the soundtrack. It's kind of funny. So they reach the realm of the Kongs, like Donkey Kong and all that. And the place is so big that they use carts to get around. Mario Kart. There's even a point where the driver, I'm sure it's one of the main Kongs, but I don't know off the top of my head. He's in a white sports joke, and Jack and even Mario goes, he's wearing a sports coat. But when they're driving, the Kong grabs a banana, eats it, throws it behind him, and another Kong sees it, freaks out, but still hits it and spins out. It ends up blowing up a hut, but it's like, yep, that's what a banana does. And they go through a whole Mario Kart course and do the paragliding thing, which was introduced in, Mario Kart 8 or something like that. And they meet Cranky Kong, the ruler of the Kongs. And he's kind of cranky. And Peach says, hey, can we use your help? And Cranky Kong does a joke. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Wait, really? No! He says, if you want my help, you're going to have to beat my son in a fight. I was like, okay, cool. And of course, Mario's the one who initiated this ultimatum. And before I go too much further, I remember a couple days ago seeing a clip on Twitter. Fucking depressing Twitter. It was from the new Rooster Teeth crew. And I haven't watched Rooster Teeth in years. But they were complaining that this was a factual error coming up. Because Mario's got to fight Donkey Kong. Of course, the old rivalry between Donkey Kong and Mario was what kicked off the whole thing, as far as I'm aware. But they were complaining that Donkey Kong is not Cranky Kong's son; it's he's his grandson. It's like, okay, that's one small error that doesn't really fucking matter. But that's just me. That's just me. I couldn't care if that was his son, grandson, great-great-grandson. It's... So, yeah. Donkey Kong and Mario have to face off with each other. And I'll have to admit, when I heard Donkey Kong was going to be voiced by Seth Rogen, I was so upset. I'm not a fan of Seth Rogen. He can be good when he's following someone else's script, like in The Freemans I'm kind of watching. He's not too bad. I find his laugh highly annoying. I don't like his new title of permanent teenager, and I definitely don't like a lot of his original works like Sausage Party, Santa Inc. I couldn't even. Ugh. I'm not looking forward to his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reboot because I saw that trailer and I was like, oh fuck. But his voice with Donkey Kong in this actually works out really well. So I give the credit to the casting director for that. But they fight. Mario gets his ass kicked so many times. He gets a blue mushroom. Shrinks gets knocked, almost killed. He's about to get a fire flower, but Donkey Kong blows it out. And then the last item he gets while falling is a cat suit. I'm like 1,000% sure that's one of the new Mario games that I never played, but that's how he ends up winning after being made fun of, but because he's got cat-like reflexes, but he's in a cat suit, so he looks ridiculous. So they get the aid of the Kongs. And at this point, Bowser and Luigi meet. And Bowser is like, hey, you look like this guy I don't like. Do you know him? And Luigi's trying his best to be rude. He's like, no, I don't know him. But Bowser starts ripping his mustache out. He's like, okay, I know him. He's my brother. And Bowser even asks, do princesses find him attractive? Because that's all he's concerned about, is if Mario is attractive to princesses. And Luigi goes, yeah, they would if they have taste. So Luigi is captured and he's put in the prison with the penguins. And there's this really depressing sprite character that is very happy with the darkness or the dark situation that they're in. And it's kind of like, okay, this is a little weird. But I don't remember. I know I saw him somewhere, people describing what he was, but I completely forget at this point. But it's not a character from Mario Galaxies, which I thought he was. But we cut back to the Kongs, and they're like, okay, you're going to need a cart. So they do the Mario Kart cart selection. Like, you can customize your carts in the Switch version of Mario Kart. Mario gets the very basic one, which fits him perfectly. Peach gets the motorcycle and that jumpsuit she has, and then the Toad gets the monster truck. It's kind of funny because he's trying to do that rev up, but he ends up screwing it up and he keeps going forward, like jittering. And then the army of Kongs starts following Mario and Peach. And it's kind of cool. It's a neat little scene. And Bowser finds out where they're going to end up going because Cranky Kong says, we're going to take this road and we're going to ambush him. but Bowser is not aware of the ambush. So they go, and they all meet up on Rainbow Road, the one road that every Mario Kart player hates. Except me. I like the Mario Kart 64's Rainbow Road. I also like the soundtrack that played with it. It's really cool. I wish I could play it again. I don't have a Switch. Anyway, a battle ensues. They use the shells, or the Koopas use the shells all the time, the green shells. The Kongs use rockets and bananas and all that, and Mario is being chased by this very specific monster, Koopa. Peach uses her skills to save Toad, and even Donkey Kong ends up saving Mario because Kong takes down the Koopa that was chasing Mario, but Mario lands on his cart, and they're still rival. Like Donkey Kong still hates Mario for beating him. But the Koopa survives the cart destruction and goes, "You cannot beat me." And he goes, "Blue shell," and turns into the fucking blue shell, the wings and all, starts chasing after Donkey Kong and Mario, and even does the circling around them before smashing right into them. It was like, as soon as he said blue shell, I was like, oh, yes, thank you. Fucking blue shell. Oh, all the references that Nintendo players will see in this movie is astounding, and it doesn't feel forced or anything. It's just like, it's so awesome to see that, and it's not like, oh, it's an Easter egg. Oh, look over there. It's kind of in the background, but it's so awesome. So after the blue cell smashes into Donkey Kong and Mario, the Rainbow Road gets damaged, and only Peach and Toad are able to continue on, as the rest of the Kongs are captured by the Koopas and sent to the same prison with Luigi and the Penguins. And Peach and Toad reach the kingdom, and Peach tells everyone to run away. I'll stay and fight, and the Toad that's been going with her says he'll fight too. She picks up a halberd, he picks up a frying pan. It's funny. And Bowser's world closes in, like he's in a floating volcano island. And Bowser's like, "Will you marry me?" And Peach is like, "Wait, really?" So she says no, and the magic dude starts hurting the Toad that's been traveling with her. And it's like, "Okay, I'll marry you, just don't hurt my toads." At this point, we see that Mario and Donkey Kong have been eaten by an eel. The very same eel from Mario 64 in that sunken level with the fucking boat that fucking sucks. Oh, sorry. Is awesome. And Donkey Kong says, my dad thinks I'm an idiot who only likes to smash stuff, and I kind of just want his approval. And I was like, well, my father thinks I'm an idiot too, and I fail at everything. Well, of course you do. So, Donkey Kong agrees with Mario's dad because he doesn't like Mario. And Donkey Kong starts smashing the stomach of the eel, and the eel burps, and that's when they see one of the carts, or see the cart that they were riding is still intact, but it still has one of the rockets on, and they use the rocket to escape the eel and travel to the Mushroom Kingdom. Cut to the dungeon, or the prison that everyone's in, and one of a Koopa and one of the Koopa copters, whatever they're called, comes over and says, "Congratulations, everyone! You're invited to attend the wedding." And one of the penguins goes, "Yay!" And then the Koopa says, "You'll be sacrificed in honor of King Koopa and Princess Peach." And no one says anything. Except the sprite. He goes, "Finally, the sweet release of death." Everyone's getting ready for the wedding. The King Pabam from Mario 64 is there. I think the giant squid is there too. I can't remember everyone that was showed up. I just remember the King Bomb because he was the first boss in Mario 64. And Peach gets a bouquet from the Toad, and she says, "Oh, I can't go out with my bouquet." And it's like, wait, does she want to get married to him? And then she walks up to the altar, and Bowser's like, "Lower the prisoners. These prisoners are going to be sacrificed for you on our wedding." And Peach goes, "Do you really think I'm actually going to marry you?" And Bowser just pretty much goes, yeah." And then in the bouquet, Peach throws out a ice flower. It was like, oh, that's clever. And freezes Bowser. And then freezes the mechanism that's lowering the prison block. And the sprite is like cheering for death, all giddy and happy. And as soon as it stops, it goes, aww. So at this point, Princess Peach turns into... what's that character's name from X-Men? The ice guy from X-Men, just throwing ice at everyone and fighting. Donkey Kong and Mario make it to the kingdom, and they start fighting the Koopas and with the standard regular mushroom that makes Mario grow, and Donkey Kong gets a fire flower, and it's just the theme music is playing in the background. Brian Taylor did a phenomenal job incorporating all the different themes into the background music, which I will admit I didn't enjoy at first, but after seeing the movie, I was like, yeah, this is good. But the fight continues. Princess Peach blows up King Bomb. It's kind of sad because the bomb guy's asleep, and then she ignites his fuse, and he's like, no, oh, and blows up. It's just like, oh, I feel bad for the guy now. The mechanism holding the prisoners breaks, and Luigi almost gets fried. But Donkey Kong saves them all, pulls them all up, and gets his father's acceptance, and the battle's over, basically. Like, it's not too long. It's kind of short and sweet. And it gets Donkey Kong's arc out of the way. Over. Because again, his arc was pretty much trying to get his father's approval of him. That he's not just some dumb monkey. But Bowser's eyes snap open from the ice. He gets pissed that Peach and Mario are talking. Like, that's just what he is. He's just an angry guy that doesn't like Peach talking to Mario. So he frees his head and says, "Launch the Bullet Bill, destroy the Mushroom Kingdom," and a massive Bullet Bill launches out of the volcano and almost destroys the Mushroom Kingdom, but Mario uses his Tanuki suit to distract it and ends up bringing the Bullet Bill to the same pipe that brought Mario and Luigi to this world. And I think this part of the movie really kind of annoyed me, because then everyone gets pulled into the pipe, including the Bowser world, and they all end up in Brooklyn again. They took a page from the 1993 film. Do not watch that one. And bring the fight back to the quote-unquote real world. And it's just like, whoa, what the... Why? What was the purpose of this? And the fact that no one's like freaking out that there's now a giant volcano castle, a dinosaur, a talking gorilla just appearing out of nowhere, destroying half a block. This is like, okay, sure. Because I'd be shitting my pants. So Bowser and not necessarily knocks Mario out, but he knocks him into a TV to the very same place that was that the movie started in. And it looks like Mario dislocated his shoulder and hides. Where Donkey Kong and Peach start fighting Bowser. And then the very same trailer, yeah, their commercial plays, and it kind of is glitching out saying, we're going to save Brooklyn, we're going to save Brooklyn, we're going to save Brooklyn. And that's when Mario stands up and is like, okay, I'm going to do this, and starts fighting, kind of gets his butt kicked, and then the superstar, I forget how it shows up, but it's there, and Bowser almost grabs it, but the star gets knocked away, and Mario's gonna reach it first, and Bowser uses fire breath, and it looks like it's gonna be over, but Luigi shows up, and with using a sewer lid stops the fire and says, "We're together. As long as we're together, we're unstoppable." And they both reach for the star as the fire consumes them, and they get the superstar, and again, the superstar invincibility theme starts playing, and it's like, oh, that's perfect. And Mario and Luigi beat up Bowser pretty badly, and I forget who force feeds Bowser a blue shrinking mushroom. And everyone's cheering, everyone's happy. Mom and Dad see Mario isn't a failure. Even Spike from the beginning is like, yeah, you guys are great, you're awesome. All hail the Super Mario Brothers. And there's a newspaper clipping that shows Super Mario Brothers save Brooklyn, and the alarm goes off, and it's like, okay, so they stayed in the real world because they start playing Mr. Blue Sky, which I don't know why they played that particular song. It reminds me too much of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But it cuts to them exiting their house, and it's actually they now have a house in the Mushroom Kingdom. And the movie ends with them jumping down a green pipe. There's two, well, one and a half, I'm going to call it 1.5 post-credit scenes, or mid-credit scenes, where the sprite pops out and says, "Hey, it's over," and does another depressing, like, "Oh, well, blah, 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 blah." And it's like, thanks, guys. And it's like, doesn't that make you want to play saxophone? And then it goes into the credits with a medley of Brian Taylor's reimagining of the Mario themes throughout the years. And then it goes to the other half of the Peaches song with Bowser singing. And then the room lights up. Toad goes, "Hey, you know what time it is? It's time to go to sleep, mister." And Bowser, in his shrinking voice, goes, "You know who I am? I'm King Koopa." And the door closes, and that's where it goes to credits, and that's where I walked out of the theater. But yeah, no, this movie was awesome. Like I said with my Puss in Boots review, there's no like political messaging. It's just a hour-and-a-half movie. Here's a story. You know what it is. The only difference is Peach isn't kidnapped this time around, but she does help Mario and the brothers out. Luigi, in the end, gets his courage to help his brother, and it's a very good movie. Even if you don't like Nintendo games, I will recommend watching this movie because, again, it is an hour and a half. No 15 different storylines. There's a ton of references for Nintendo fans. And for non-Nintendo fans, you can kind of see what's going on anyway. Because there's even a point where they show Mario and Luigi being baby Mario and Luigi. And it's like, oh, I know that's where that's from. But someone else who may not know is just, oh, well, they're showing even as children, Mario stood up for his brother. So, like I said, go see this. If you can't see it in the theaters, wait until it comes out on digital. But definitely a movie I'm going to be getting when it does get out, because it's such a good movie. Simple. And I hope that they do a sequel. I might not see that in theaters, because seeing this one in theaters reminded me of why I hate going to the theaters. 45 minutes of fucking commercials, and then 20 minutes of the theater company basically stroking themselves, and then a kid behind me would not shut up at all. That was not fun. Having a kid always asking, "What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's going on, mommy? Oh, what's that, mommy? Oh, mommy, look at that! Look at that!" It's just like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. But yeah, so I know I keep saying it. Go see this movie. It's plain and simple. The animation is very smooth. It's good. Illumination, once again, has nailed it out of the park. I love the fact that they look like their video game counterparts. The voice acting, very good. The casting was right for everyone. They even have a lot of the old sound effects in the background if you can pick it up. Like I said, the very few complaints on my end, like them being from Brooklyn, is like, okay, I get it, but I didn't like the final battle being in Brooklyn. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have too much negative to say about it. Like, this was an extremely enjoyable movie for me, and I will definitely be seeing it again. So, before I keep repeating myself over and over again, like I always constantly do, thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.